Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2016 Mercedes GLE, and today we're going to show you how to install our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. As you can see, it's already installed in this car and it's paired to our iPhone wirelessly. You can also pair it to your Android phone wirelessly. You're able to control the system right here with the original scroll wheel, and you're able to switch back to the original Mercedes system easily, just pressing and holding the back button. And also, if you're in CarPlay and you put your car into reverse, this image will go away and you're going to see your original cameras. So nothing gets disabled, you just get a function which you never had before. And now we're going to go ahead and show you how to install it in this particular car. So the tools that you're going to need is a hook tool, this panel removal tool, a T20 Torx, and this is a T30 Torx. And of course you would need our product. We're going to start with our panel removal tool and we're going to remove this trim around the stereo. So you'll go behind the corner and work your way around the radio. As you can see, there's just 4 clips that hold this trim piece on. Now we will remove this HVAC unit and you'll need these 2 tools. So we'll start with our hook tool and you're going to get behind the corner here carefully. So you pull it a little bit, that way it gives you space in order to insert your panel removal tool. And same thing, you work your way around, undo all the clips. And right away we're just gonna disconnect all the connections. There's 4 and they disconnect from this side towards this side. So if you try to remove this one, you will not be able to unless you remove this one. So you just press on the clip here for this one. Here there's a clip and you have to slide open the lock. Same with this one. And the last small one, there's a clip on the side. Behind this panel for HVAC that you just removed, you're going to see that there's 2 bolts and they hold the locks in that hold the head unit, and we're going to use our T20 and remove these 2 bolts. With the bolts removed, now you can release the locks and they just slide down, and that lets you take the head unit out. So for now we will leave it here and we will focus on removing other bolts. So we will need to run 2 wires to this compartment, and that's a USB wire and a wire for audio. And in order to do that, we will have to remove a few bolts in order to move the center console out, and that will give us space to run the 2 wires. First thing you're going to do is you're going to remove this rubber mat, and down there you're going to see there's 2 bolts, one right here and one over there, and they're both T30. So we're going to loosen those 2 bolts all the way and they're just going to rest there, and then we're actually going to remove them when we move the center console, because right now it's very hard to reach to them. Now with this compartment open, there's bolts underneath the cover, so this little rubber mat will just peel back, and then you'll see there's 4 T20 bolts, as you can see, and there's 2 big ones and they're both T30. They're the same ones that we just removed from the front of the console. So we'll first remove the 4 small ones. Now we will use our T30 and remove these 2 big ones. Now you can grab this panel and lift it up and tilt it, and over here you're gonna see this blue connection which we have to disconnect and unplug. There's a clip on the side, you just press it and that's it. So now we will show you what comes in our kit and what we're gonna install in this particular car. So you have the main module, which we're gonna hide right here behind the HVAC control. Then you have the main harness, which we will connect at the back of the stereo, and then it will connect to our module over there. We have our video cable that gets connected at the back of the head unit, and also we have our wireless antenna for wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You also have this USB which we're going to wire into the compartment for the armrest, and this is our audio cable which will also go into the armrest compartment. So now we're ready to start wiring everything and connecting everything. So we'll start removing the head unit, and here on the side you will see that there's this wire. It has a clip on top which you have to press and to release it. After that you're able to pull the head unit out all the way, and here we'll be connecting to 2 things. This is the main quad lock harness, so we'll disconnect it. There's a clip underneath and it disconnects, and also this video cable, there's a clip underneath, and then we're gonna carefully use our tool in order to disconnect it. We will take our video cable, and it has these 3 ends, so This single end will plug into the module, and these two ends will be at the back of the stereo. So you will take the male end and you will plug it in instead of the blue connection that we just removed. And this female end is where you will plug in the original connection. And you will grab this end, and our goal is to feed these wires all right here behind the HVAC control. So we'll just drop them. We have the wire coming out here. Now we will take our harness, which you will receive with your kit, and the male end will plug in at the back. But first you have to transfer over the fiber optic cable. See here, this original harness has this orange wire. Not all of these cars have it, but if you do, you have to transfer it, otherwise you're not going to get any sound. So there's a clip here which you lift up and then pull on the cable at the same time. Now you can take this end, make sure it's unlocked. You take our harness and plug it in. Once it's almost all the way in, that's when you lock it in place. Then this is our harness, and we will transfer over the fiber optic cable. It goes on this outer edge. With this lock unlocked, we will plug our harness into the stereo. So again, you're going to insert it all the way in, that it's almost flush, and then you lock it in place. So this is the other end of our harness, and this one we will feed the same way we fed the video cables. They get connected to our module, and you have to have them coming out behind the HVAC. So now they're here. At this point you can kind of rearrange the wires nicely, so you're going to be able to put the head unit back, and you're going to make sure that this connection doesn't get left behind. Make sure that there's no wires on top or below the stereo so you don't crush them when you're putting it back. At this point you can reconnect this cable on the side. So we're just going to push the head unit in, and then we're going to lock it in place. And for now we're going to do it without any bolts because we have to test everything to make sure that everything will be working. We will take now our module and start doing the connections into the module. So we'll connect the video cable. Then this is our harness. It has two cables that you need to connect. And over here you're gonna find this is the auxiliary wire for sound, and there's also the USB. And these two wires we're actually gonna run to the armrest area, which we told you about earlier, and that's what we're gonna do right now. These are the two wires. This end gets plugged into the module, this one will be in our armrest, and this is our audio wire, which also is going to be in the armrest. So we'll now grab our center console from the back. You're kind of going to lift it up and then move it out. Once you get it this far, these are the two bolts that I told you about. Now you can take them out, and then you will move the flaps over in order to get the console up. So we will take our USB cable, and this end we will drop towards the corner here. There is an opening which you can use, and before you lose the wire you can just plug it into this USB end. Now we will take our auxiliary wire, same thing, we'll just probably connect it right away so we don't lose this end. We're gonna do the same, we're gonna drop the wire over there into that opening. Here you go, we have the wire, two wires actually, and we will now lift up the console like we showed you earlier. We will make sure that it's over the dash, and you can put your knee underneath to hold it, because now we have access underneath in order to get our two wires inside of this compartment. And now we also have the USB cable inside of there, so you're gonna see that this is our USB. Then we have this audio cable, and also you gotta make sure not to lose the original blue connection wire which you disconnected in order to remove the two USBs. And this is the blue wire that we mentioned, so when you're putting the console back, so once you have the two wires here and the blue one, we can do our connections. So there's two ways in order to get those two wires in. Once everything is assembled, you can either drill a hole here, or you can have the wires come out from the bottom. There's enough space to put this panel back, and the wires just get hidden underneath it. For assembly, we'll do it like this. Here you go, you have two wires underneath, and right away we'll connect the auxiliary wire into this USB to auxiliary converter, because this is our way to plug in to this car for sound. So we're going to be choosing media interface 1 or 2. So right now we plugged it into 1, and as you can see, you got to make sure that all of your holes line up, especially the two big ones. And the last thing that we have left to connect is this wireless antenna, which just gets plugged in, and you can keep it here. You're gonna put the module in. You got to make sure that you have all of your 4 wires here, because we're going to reconnect everything right now just for testing purposes before we screw anything in. So that's what we're going to do. First, you got to start from the passenger side and work your way there. And at this point, we're going to connect our iPhone by the USB cable, and we're going to test CarPlay. So we just turned on the ignition, and this is the original Mercedes interface. We also connected our iPhone by the wire. Later, we're going to pair it wirelessly. So you're going to choose in the original Mercedes system, media interface 1, because that's where we plugged in for sound. So that's what we're going to choose. As you can see, the time is just going to be rolling. And now we're going to press and hold the back button. And here you have Apple CarPlay because we have our iPhone connected. If you would connect Android, you would get AndroidAuto. So you just got to check that everything is working in terms of controls. And it is. We can control it with the scroll wheel. And then you're also going to check for sound. So the sound is working. And at this point you can also check your maps, but that should be standard. And once you've tested everything, we can go ahead and turn off the ignition again and reassemble everything for the final assembly. The locks are locked in, and now we can put back the 2 bolts. Now you can clip in the HVAC control panel. That's it, it's all the way in. And now there's that trim that goes around the head unit. And now we have to put all the bolts back that hold the center console in. We will start with our 2 big bolts that go right here. Now you can put back the rubber mat here. So that's it, we fully assembled the car, and now you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on your original screen. Again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2016 GLE, and we showed you how to install our product. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.